Hi friends, I just got back from my 4-day women's retreat. These retreats just keep getting better and better and better. I love them. This was a little bit more of an introductory retreat. A lot of the women there, this was their first time. There was a few that had been around for a while, but it was lovely. And it always feels like the right people make it and have the right connections, and all of the conversations are always so good. We have some beautiful extras like yoga-based movement, Tai Chi, Qigong, stuff like that. We had henna this time, which was so fun. We had a sound bath, which was just really lovely. That all kind of really supports the healing that we do. But the bulk of what we do is actually sitting in circle, sitting in conversation and connection, and we journal and we ponder and we meditate and we discuss and we share and we do a lot of integration. Integration can look like meditation or visualization or hypnotherapy. But like I talk about here on the podcast, it's not about gaining more information. It's about integration. And I recently was chatting with a lady about business, and she was talking about how, like, I know all these things. And I was like, yeah, we can know so much in our head about business or about parenting or whatever. But unless we're truly doing the integration work, it's just not going to land. And the integration work that I like to do is around inadequacy. How is inadequacy at the root of why I feel stuck in my business? How is inadequacy at the root of why I feel overwhelmed? There's too much to do all of the time, no matter how much I get done. How is inadequacy at the root of my relationship struggles, my communication struggles? How is inadequacy at the root of my parenting? And how we move through that is through feeling, like I talk about on my podcast probably almost every week. And that's the space to do it. It's this beautiful container of space where we get to breathe and we get to feel and we get to sit and we get to ponder and we get to converse. And I feel like there was a lot of breakthroughs. I would love to share some truths that came up over the weekend that we talked a lot about. I just did a little recap and I wanted to share it here. Sometimes we don't feel like us anymore. A few women said this, like they felt like it's silly that at this age, whatever age they were, that they felt like they just weren't sure who they were anymore. And we wonder who we really are. This is the journey of the heroine. Not just for women, by the way. The heroine's journey is something that we all go on. Disassembling who we thought we were in search of who we actually are. I shared a story of the goddess Inanna. It is going to be also in my upcoming book, which I'm sure I'll talk about more later. But it's the journey of descent. It's the journey of descendants. It's trying to figure out who I am. It's taking off all of the layers of who I thought that I was and trying to figure out who I really am at my core. And we had a beautiful discussion about that. Vulnerability is hard. Like you might feel like you want to puke hard. Like all of those, Sumag Kid calls them the naysayers in her head, all come really loud and really fierce. Why did you say that? Why did you do that? That was weird. That was silly. You were too open. That happens a lot. And it tries to shut that part down, that part that wants to open up and be more real and be more itself. And so it was interesting just to see that happen to so many people who would come back the next morning and just be like, oh, I need to talk less today. But at the core of that inadequacy was so often, don't take up space. You're too much. Your feelings don't matter. Your feelings are too much. Your voice doesn't matter. Don't be too big. You're going to make other people uncomfortable. Don't share your truth. And all of that can be really hard. And I think we create a really beautiful safe space and safe environment for that at the retreat. Okay, next. Communicating with our own inner selves is the goal. How do we relate to ourselves? What does our inner voice sound like? How can we cultivate more compassion, more love, more acceptance? And I told them that's the work when they go home too. It's, can I have a journal where I just talk to my inner self? Just start to notice your inner self, your inner dialogue. A lot of times our inner dialogue is not super happy or kind to itself. It's, oh, that's not a big deal. Or, oh, just look on the bright side. Or you shouldn't be freaking out about something so small. Or what a silly thing to be triggered by. That inner dialogue can often be like harsh and unkind. And we can try and love it. We can even love that bully side. We can love all sides. Love is the way, the only way. We can't hate ourselves into self-improvement. We can't focus on our inadequacies so much that they will eventually change. Love is the tunnel. Focusing on the gap, focusing on the inadequacy will only ever create more of the same. You only ever grow the seed that you planted. Personality type systems are awesome if they help us understand us at a deeper level. My faves, the Enneagram, Human Design, and Gene Keys, Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. We talked a lot about Human Design, a little bit about Human Design, and a very little bit about Gene Keys. Gene Keys is a little bit next level. And I feel like Enneagram is a little bit more entry level to be able to understand. I would offer, if you're going to figure out your Enneagram, that it's better if you just read about it and self-diagnose, because we had people that would take the tests. They would do like a test online and then another test online, and they would give them exactly opposite answers. like their lowest score was their highest score in one and vice versa. So just Google Enneagram numbers, read about each one, see which lands. I brought a whole bunch of books from my local library about Enneagram, and we discovered that. And it was interesting to see, once we knew that, how that impacted how people showed up, how they related to each other. And you could kind of see that their Enneagram number like working through that. So that was really fascinating. Yeah. So go check that out. Another one, you are good. At your core is goodness. Anything that tells you otherwise is non-truth. Listen to that goodness, feel into that goodness, be that goodness, believe in it, give it breathing room. The cracks are where the light enters. Your wounds are your gifts. The suffering can transform into something beautiful. And this is something that's been like my own learning and my own teaching lately, has been that like gratitude for gifts as wounds. And that if I hadn't had all of the things I had to work through, I wouldn't have been able to be where I am today. And that beauty and that truth gives me so much hope and just peace about the future, especially for my own children, knowing like I can't always give them everything that they need in every moment. I can't be the ideal parent that they need me to be in every moment. I can try, I can repair, I can reconnect. I can have a lot of capacity. My capacity can grow, but it will never be perfect. And that the wounds that are created in my own home through me harming and hurting others unintentionally will be things that they get to work through also, and that they will become their greatest gifts. And it's like this beautiful and also heartbreaking circle. But I get to heal a lot. I get to move through a lot that has been generationally passed down to me for years and years. But I can't heal it all. I can't heal everything, no matter how hard I try. One of the difficult pills to swallow as a human is that like, even when we're not trying to harm, we probably will still cause harm throughout our life. That just happens. And we can repair and we can reconnect and we can learn and we can grow and we can do better and all of that. But like really embracing that shadow side of, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to be unkind sometimes. We're going to react from our triggers sometimes, even when we're trying really hard not to. It can be a hard pill to swallow. Okay. Focusing on inadequacy creates more inadequacy. Focusing on love, acceptance, and compassion is the fuel for real change. It's actually the only space that change can happen. Love is the only space that real, true, inner, intrinsic change can happen. Parenting problems are less about our kids and more about us. What is this bringing up in me? What is underneath this struggle? Why does this bother me? That's where the gold lies. You might have to ask yourself that same question over and over again to get some like deeper and deeper layers until you find something that feels really emotionally connected, like you feel really connected to. It's possible to live a life free of mom guilt, or at least almost always free of mom guilt. It's not a necessary evil. We have it, but it's something that we can move through and get to a space of compassion, not apathy or indifference or just, I will just let you do whatever you want because I no longer feel guilty about it. Or I'll let myself do whatever I want. But there's a quote that says, there's a yes in compassion and a no in compassion, said with the same courage of heart. So the compassion can be the yes and the no. And I think the more that we move to love and surrender and compassion and all the things we talk about on this podcast, the less our mom guilt is so intense. And I think over time, it's really possible to not have it just be such a present part of our life, at least. The energy behind actions is more important than the actions themselves. I said this over and over again over the weekend. Our energy speaks louder than our words and our actions. Our kids can feel it. Our partners can feel it. Our friends can feel it. If we want to create a change, it starts first with breaking the energetic pattern. If you think of a time where you go, I'm going to be calm and I'm going to be empathetic and I'm going to listen really well, but your insides were like, this is ridiculous. This is totally your fault, or you're abandoning me, or why are you doing this to me? All of that energy that is happening on the inside is still being spoken invisibly, but it's definitely being felt. And so even if we try to break a pattern and try to do something in a, healthier, kinder way, we're like, why wasn't it received well? Like, why didn't it work? This is why. It's breaking that energetic pattern too. Healing is very simple. It's hard work. It's hard to go there. It takes time, but it's simple. Feeling is healing. We heal through our feelings. Our thought patterns change through our feelings, our identity, our belief, those things that feel so true about us that are actually a lot more malleable than we thought. Those change through our feelings. That's where the healing is, that feelings tunnel. Eventually, calm, peace, and groundedness become the baseline we live from. And when we move out of that congruence, we can feel it and we know what to do to move back in. We're not always just going to be perfect forever. That just won't happen. We live in a life full of disturbances and hurt and harm. And that's just the world that we live in. But we can get to a space where congruence, wholeness, groundedness feels like our baseline. That feels like what we're working from, what we're operating from. So much so that when we move out of congruence, we can feel it and we can shift back in again. We won't ever live a life free from suffering or inner disturbance. That's not the goal. The goal is congruence, to move back in and out and in a way that feels good to us, and know when we're out of congruence and know what to do when we step back in. Okay, lastly, we are already whole. Healing is the remembrance of that. It's not healing because look at all of this brokenness, look at all these wounds. It's like remembering my wholeness, remembering that below all of that, I am whole. So if this work is calling to you, I would love for you to join our September retreat. It's September 16th to the 19th. It is now open. And for registrations to the public, join us if you feel interested in this. It's in Alberta, Canada. The closest airport is Calgary, Alberta. It'll be a few hours from there. And we would love to have you join. And we'll probably do another one in December as well. So keep an ear out for that. Make sure that you're on my email list. If you aren't already on there, get on there so that you know about all of the things as they come when they come. But this work is great. And the other thought that I thought was just like, I just feel so blessed that this is the work that I get to do with people over and over again, and that it gets to bless me, it gets to bless my family's life, and it gets to bless people around me. It just feels so awesome. And it's always such a good reminder of that when I go to retreats like this. One of the ladies said, I think we need to do 6 of these a year. And I was like, you know what? I'd be on board for that. If we did them close by so that I can bring all of the things I need to bring back and forth easily, I'd do it. So let's do more. Let's do more of this in-person, awesome healing work. And maybe we will see you in September. Okay, see you next time.